Hey guys, how you doing? Happy Monday to you. Happy beginning of April. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It was Easter and a lot of people were on spring break. I was also coming back from spring break with my daughter, so it feels like spring. It really does. So I'm happy to be here with you guys talking about something today that I think is really important because most of you watching are serious singers. You're passionate about your voice, you're passionate about your music journey and everything that you want to create with it. And that's a long journey. And there are obvious ups and downs in that journey. And there are going to be times when you feel stuck, when you feel like you've plateaued. And it just feels like Groundhog Day. It just feels like the same issues over and over again, the same issues in your technique, the same issues in your career, the same level of gigs, the same level of pay, the same frustrations over and over and over again, the same frustrations. And it's just like, doesn't seem to be moving the needle in the way that you want. And so that's not an easy place to be. I mean, let's be real, especially for those of you who are doing this professionally. And so I want to talk today about like the three main things that we can look at, the three main causes of why most singers get plateaued. And once we know, then there are things we can do to address it. So, the first thing that keeps talented singers stuck and not up leveling and moving forward in your singing is making meaning out of things that are keeping you stuck. So what I mean by this is looking at the surroundings, looking at the circumstances, whether it be a technique thing, whether it be circumstantial in your family, in your life, and making a meaning out of it that actually prevents you from taking the actions and doing the things that would actually move the needle and get you to that next level. So that could be something like, okay, here's a good one. First of all, how many of you have a family, have kids? And I know that there are so many societal constructs around being out there, performing, touring, doing all these things and having kids. And so there's this idea, there's a meaning that, well, I have kids now. And what I'm making that mean is that it's hard. It will be harder for me to gig, record, perform, audition, whatever. So the meaning I'm making of my circumstance is a meaning that affects my emotional state. It affects my energy. Because in that circumstance of having kids and also wanting to be a performer in this example, or performing but wanting to do it at a higher level, I'm making it mean I will see my kids less. I will see my husband less. My husband will be mad at me if I go out there and spend time doing this. It will be impossible for me to find childcare, right? You see all the meanings that I'm making out of this. I'm making being a performer and being a mom and having a family mean that it's going to be hard. And do we ever want to do things that are hard, that we have created a scenario in our mind that it's going to suck? No, we don't want to do that. So the meaning, like in this example of, oh, having kids means it's going to be hard and I can't do what I want to do. If we give it that meaning, then we're not empowered to actually take the actions that we want, to go to the auditions, to make the records, to network and do all the things that we would do to perform at that higher level, because we're convinced that if we succeed at that level, it's going to be too hard. Our spouse is going to be mad at us. Our kids are not going to have us the way we want. It's going to be harder to find childcare. So we don't do those things and we don't get to the next level because what we've made that next level mean is struggle. So that's an example of making meaning out of things in your circumstance that then keep you stuck. So look around. What are you making meaning out of that doesn't serve you? Because until we shift that, you'll stay where you are. Even if it's a technique thing, making meaning out of the fact that, I don't know, your choir teacher told you that you would never sing high. Okay, well then if you're never going to sing high, why would you ever invest the time, the money, the energy in the training that would get you there? You won't. And so then you won't sing high. And then maybe You feel less than, you're not able to do the rep that you really want to do. So you don't put yourself out there because you're not confident about it. You see, meaning matters, guys. It really matters. So the first step to getting unstuck and moving forward when you've plateaued to get to that next level is look at the meaning that you're giving things and start to see if you can shift that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is oftentimes we need new inspiration. So if you've been doing it the same way, you've been working with the same repertoire, maybe doing the same types of gigs for the same pay, or you've been working with the same coaches, you guys, you need new inspiration. And so if you keep doing things the same way and the same things over time, you're just going to keep getting the same result. You got to mix things up. If you want a different result, you got to do things differently, which means you need new inspiration. But oftentimes, what stops us from finding that new inspiration, taking new actions, are our excuses. So start to look. What are the excuses that you use that keep you doing it the same way with the same actions, getting the same result, right? What are the excuses that keep you doing it the same? And it's usually, guys, the top 2 or 3 excuses are, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I'm too old. Okay. These are the excuses that stop you from taking new actions, from doing things differently, from investing your time and your money and your energy differently so that you get a different result. We need to take inspired risks. Do you guys know what I mean by that? An inspired risk, right? But like if you're stuck in your excuses, if you're, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I'm too old, whatever your excuses are, I don't live in a big city, so there are no auditions. Okay, fine. You got a car, drive, go to the nearest city. If you need auditions, don't let that be an excuse, right? But then it's like, oh, but that's a risk. That requires me taking a risk. That requires me, maybe taking an afternoon off from my day job. That would require me maybe getting childcare. That would require me, right? So these are risks. But here's the thing. Inspired risks are discomfort, but for an outcome that gets you what you want, versus discomfort for something like that's not an inspired risk, right? Like stepping into oncoming traffic. That doesn't get you what you want, not an inspired risk, right? But the inspired risks are the things that may make us feel a little uncomfortable because we don't know what the outcome is going to be, but we do it anyway. You guys, the thing, you got to be willing to try and fail. And it's our excuses that stop us from doing that. The excuses, oh, my time, my money, whatever, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my money. Okay. Then keep doing it the same way. Keep spending your money on the same things. Keep spending your time on the same things. You will keep getting the same result. And you guys, I know this is like, I'm like hardcoring you right now, but it's true. And so the reason that we don't want to mix it up is because we're scared. The biggest reason that we don't try new things and take new actions is because we're scared of failing. What if it doesn't work? What if I crash and burn? What if I get on that stage and it's a massive suck fest? What if I go to the audition and I embarrass myself? What if I spend the time and the energy and the money to take myself from my tiny little town to go to Nashville or to go to New York for a weekend and do auditions, and I spend the time and I spend the money and I get the childcare, and then I don't get the part? Or whatever, the outcome is not what I want. What if it doesn't work out? But here's what, guys. We want that guarantee of success before we take the step, which is why most of us are plateaued, because we want to know what's going to happen. We want a guarantee of the outcome. And we're scared of not getting that. We're scared of the unknown. So we don't take the steps. We don't take the actions because we don't have the guarantee. But you guys, the only guarantee is that if you don't take new steps, if you don't take risks, inspired risks, if you don't take new actions and mix things up, then things will stay the same. I can guarantee you that. And you will stay on your plateau. I can guarantee you that if you do not take new steps, take new actions, take inspired risks, the one guarantee I can absolutely give you is that things will absolutely stay the same. Can we guarantee that we're going to get what we want? No. But if we don't take the steps, you can guarantee that we absolutely will not. So we got to be willing to shake things up. We got to be willing to try and fail and learn and try again. Too many people, I speak to a lot of singers, right? And they'll give me a blanket statement. I go to auditions and nobody hires me. And I'll say, okay, how many auditions did you go to in the last 6 months? Three? Three? Three auditions. They're making meaning out of three auditions, right? That was the very first thing that we talked about, making meaning out of things that keep you stuck. So these singers, three auditions in 6 months. Are you kidding me? That's not a data sample size, right? And you don't get the gig. And so making meaning, that that they don't, I'm not good enough, this and that. And so then they stop auditioning. And they stop doing the things that would get them to the next level so that when they go to more auditions, they feel more confident and they get gigs. So we've got to look at what's going on and understand what's going on in the mind garden, the weeds that want to threaten to take over all of the inspiration that would otherwise come through and the awareness. Start yanking these weeds out. It's like what we say, time in the saddle. You guys, you got to do things. You got to just put yourself out there and know that you will not get the result that you want half the time. But that's a good thing because if you look at it from there is no fail, there is only opportunity, then every time you put yourself out there and you look and say, okay, that wasn't the result that I wanted, but what were the things that I did well? And what are the things that I can optimize and that I can learn from that? If we're not doing that, then again, you're just going to keep taking the same actions and you're going to keep getting the same result because you're not learning from the challenges. And I don't even like the word failure because in my playbook, there is no failure. There's only learning. Like the acronym for fail. Have you guys ever heard it? FAIL, first attempt in learning. I love that. Well, one of you type that into the chat, FAIL, first attempt in learning. Because every time you take a step, if you take a step instead of, I got to get this outcome, it's I take a step in, how am I moving the needle? What do I get to learn? How can I expand from this? The gift in the challenge, the gift in the opportunity, right? So again, it's making meaning out of things. If every time you put yourself out there and you don't get the result that you want, you make it mean that you're not good enough and that you're a failure, why would you keep putting yourself out there? And so you don't. And so then you don't get the learnings. And so then you don't do the things that get you to the next level because you will not gain that knowledge. So again, looking at what meaning you're giving things instead of giving every time you put yourself out there and don't get the opportunity land that you want, instead of making that mean failure, let's make it mean opportunity to expand, opportunity to look and see, what do I get to do? But what do I get to do differently next time? Is that a skill set that I have? Maybe it's not. Okay. Maybe I need some different training. Maybe I need some different, tools or something. Okay. So I'm going to get that. And that's how we leave the plateau. Instead of being here, Groundhog Day, same. That's how we start to shift and create and expand and have a different experience. And over time, that takes us to a completely different reality. So I'm curious if you guys want to put in the chat, those of you who are watching live, what do you think are the excuses that you use all the time that keep you plateaued? What do you think are the meanings that you give things all the time? If you just kind of notice that keep you plateaued. Type it in the chat. because I can give you some support on it, number one, if you're watching live. And number two, I think that we'll find that we all are pretty similar. We all don't want to fail. We all want to try to protect ourselves. We all want to try to, play safe. But you guys, playing safe is not how you get on big stages. It's not how you create massive change and transformation in your sound. I wish it were, but like safe is not safe. Safe is continuing to play small. And I know that for most of you, you're up to much bigger things than that. And so to get unstuck when you feel plateaued, look at the things that you're making meaning out of that are keeping you there. Get some new inspiration. Try new things. Put yourself out there in different ways. Allow yourself to have different training explorations, different tools, work with different people. Allow yourself to spend time and money and energy on taking inspired risks, and then do it over and over and over again. Be willing to try and fail and get up again and learn, right? It's like shooting a target. Oh, I'm off the bullseye here. Okay, well, what did I do well? Going to keep doing that. What do I want to optimize? Okay, one thing I'm going to try to optimize. Now I'm going to shoot again. Oh, look, now I'm on the inner ring of the bullseye. Okay, it's not the center of the bullseye, but I didn't fit. It's not a failure. I'm getting closer. There is no such thing as fail. What did I do well? Oh, I'm going to keep doing those things. What's one more thing I can optimize? Okay, I'm going to get some tools for that. I'm going to get some help from that. I'm going to practice that. Now let me shoot again. Boom. Oh, look, bullseye, right? Progress, not perfection. So being willing to spend your time, your money, your energy on getting up, trying, failing, learning, doing it again, getting up, trying, failing, learning, doing it again, and creating an ecosystem and an ethos in your mind where failure is a great thing. It's the way we learn. It's something that you invite, because the faster you fail, the faster you succeed. And that is how you get off the plateau. So, do you guys have any questions for me in the chat? For those of you who are watching live, or if you're not watching live, I always go back into the chat and we'll answer any questions that you have. So this is the opportunity to do that. Maybe I should sing a whole live. I could do that. I could do a whole live like opera recitative. So, and for those of you opera singers, you know what that is. If you're not an opera singer, it's a way of talk singing that they do in opera. Giunse al fine il momento che godrò senza affanno in braccio l'idol mio. That's a recit from Marriage of Figaro. I could just do a recit for a live. That would be hysterical. Tell me in the comments, what is it that you want to know? Comment if you really think you have a question. So you guys, I think I'm in a funky mood today. Anyway, all right. That's our live for today. Go out there, fail forward, be willing to try and learn. Do I have a vocal warm-up CD? No, I don't, because the warm-ups, and I'll tell you why. That's a good question. Because that you warm up doesn't matter. I know you're like, what? We have to warm up. Yeah, of course you do. That you warm up doesn't matter. How you warm up does. So I could give you a recording of 6 or 7 different vocalises, vocal exercises, and you will do them with all your bad habits. You will do them with all of your tensions. You will do them with all of your flawed technique. And so what you will do is you will do those 10 exercises to warm up. But what you will be warming up is all of your flawed technique, all of your old bad habits, all of your, and so you will actually be conditioning that and warming that up. So that you warm up doesn't matter. How you warm up does. So the reason that I don't have a warm up CD, and I never will, is because the actual warm up exercises don't matter. It's how you do them. And so unless you're in my ecosystem, now for the singers who are in our intensive program, they have all of the MP3s of warm ups and stuff because they're being coached on it. And so they know the how. But without the how, I would be doing you a massive disservice, and you would just be buying something from me that's just reinforcing everything you're doing wrong. So I don't know. I'm sorry if that's not the answer that you wanted, but I do things a little differently. I know you guys know that. And so, you know, the warm up is really for you to warm up your efficient technique. And so unless I'm showing you how to do these exercises in the way that's the most efficient, it doesn't really matter. Um, let's see. Uh, the encouragement to stay in the practice of striving. Oh, that's interesting. So in my language, I tend to have sort of a definition of striving that is something that doesn't serve. It's something that you're always reaching for, that's always out of reach. And so you never feel good enough because you're just always striving because it's just something out there. So I know what you mean, though. I think you mean stay in the practice of expanding, of learning, of cultivating the things within yourself that allow you to grow and have different experiences. So I do understand. Fail forward. I realize I'm turning the outcomes into disappointment or despair. I guess being brave and imperfect need not be the terrain of young people. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get to choose, right? You get to choose your state. Choose bravery, choose being perfectly imperfect, right? The If you're not getting the outcomes that you want, great. That is God in the universe tapping you on the shoulder and being like, these are the things that you need to optimize if you want to have what you want, right? So when we don't get the outcome that we want, we tend to make it mean, like I was saying before, that we can't do it, that we're not good enough, that we're not meant to do it. I mean, that's an excuse I hear all the time. I guess I'm just not meant to do this. BS, right? Like, and so you get to choose to look at that as, oh, okay, so I did this thing. I didn't get the outcome that I wanted. Why? What are the things that I can optimize here? Literally the universe tapping you on the shoulder and being like, this failure, this disappointment, this is me, universe, God, showing you exactly what you get to expand into, fix, work on, so that the next time you get a different outcome. But most people, they take that and they make it mean, I guess I'm not good enough. I shouldn't do it again. And they don't, because they're in fear of the same outcome happening. But because they're not looking at it from the meaning of opportunity. What's the gift in the challenge? What's the opportunity that I'm being given here to be able to see what I can shift, transform, what tools I can get, what help I may need, so that I get to do it again and I get to move the needle further each time. And that is brave. And you get to be perfectly imperfect doing it. Absolutely. All right, guys. So it's been a pleasure being live with you today. There's a lot that goes on up here that affects what happens, that comes out from here. And so honor yourselves, pat yourselves on the back for showing up today and absorbing the conversation, because it's only going to empower you to move off the plateau. So make a decision. What new actions can I take today? What new ways can I commit to myself to take inspired risks, even in one small way today? Maybe go on and book yourself a gig. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Maybe go on and look and sign up for an audition that's coming up. Just do it. Take inspired risks. Put yourself out there. Do it over and over again. Fail forward. Learn. Pick yourself up. Do it more. Do it again. And that's how you make your way down the field. And before you know it, you're in the end zone and you're not on the plateau anymore. Okay, guys, have an amazing, amazing day. And I will see you live next time. Oh, I'm so glad you like the 60-second videos. Yeah, they're super helpful. There's a ton of them. So you can find them all on YouTube too. There's so many of them. And we have more. They're always coming out. So, okay, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everybody.